I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Ulysse Nardin Marine Chronograph Manufacture Launch Edition. You can see this pink gold, 1 of 150 piece enamel-dialed Launch Edition Manufacture Movement chronograph, and purchase it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images, and complete pricing information for this Ulysse Nardin caliber 150 marine chronograph. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see it's a large watch. You can also see that the color might not be perfectly true given the lighting effects of my light box, but it's somewhere between rose gold and yellow gold. Ulysse Nardin calls this pink gold, and I'm going to go with that. The watch is 43 millimeters across the round of the case. That's not including pushers, crown, or crown guard. In terms of thickness, it's actually not quite as thick as it looks. 15 millimeters, there's a little bit of a lip to the bezel, so it will fit underneath perhaps a jacket sleeve. From lug to lug, the watch is broad but not overwhelming. It's 50 millimeters from extremity to extremity across the wrist. Now the watch is nicely shaped to arc around the wrist. You can see just how short the lugs are. They're massive, and they contribute to a watch that is very hefty in terms of weight, but because they are so close cropped to the case, they help the watch coexist well with a smaller wrist like mine. Now the strap is very substantial, and as you can see, completely integrated into the flow of the lugs. It creates a very coherent look, all of a piece, and as the watch is extremely heavy, screws are used to fix the watch to the strap. This is what I like to see. It's the higher quality, more secure way of fixing a strap to a case, especially when the watch has this much mass. Now it's paired with a very attractive Ulysse Nardin double deployant, fully polished, twin trigger mechanism that essentially removes the one big up and over that can pinch your wrist when you're dealing with a single fold deployant. It's beautifully sculpted inside and completely polished, not a single raw, stamped, machined, or unfinished surface. And again, because the swing arm of one side of the deployant acts as a spring for the twin triggers, this one's not going to accidentally pop open. It's not friction fit. It requires positive disengagement. Now, the watch is a combination of highlights that really never end. The first is the handsome case, which features a little homage element to Ulysse Nardin's historic marine chronometer deck clocks or navigation instruments, the individual number plate fixed with blued screws on the side, a beautifully coined bezel that's very deep and dominates the flanks of the case, contrasting nicely with the polished elements. And although I can't quite convey it, maybe I can just slightly, but there's a little bit of a concave curve to the polished portion of the case that is very handsome, and it's the kind of thing you could miss at first glance. That's the sign of truly great design, when you can look at a watch twice and notice something different, something new each time. And that's what you find on the dial. At first glance, handsome, a very deep dished ray haut. You can also see that there's beautiful blackened hands at center and blackened indices with a traditional railroad-style minutes and seconds track outboard of stylized Roman numerals. What you might not notice at first glance is that it is Grand Faux enamel. For 2013, when Ulysse Nardin launched its caliber 150, it did so with this 150-piece limited edition. Thus, the watch you see here, a limited edition with manufacture movement and Grand Faux enamel, is extremely scarce and a truly special Ulysse Nardin reference in the company's history. Now, you'll note that the watch features chronograph action for the first time thanks to Ulysse Nardin's own in-house caliber, and just as the dial has been created by Ulysse Nardin dial specialist subsidiary Donze Cadran, so has the movement been executed by Ulysse Nardin's own in-house savoir-faire. Now here's the thing. Once upon a time, and by that I mean the early 1970s, this was a Lamagna 1340. In time, it became the Ebel 137, a caliber co-developed with Ulysse Nardin during the early 90s. In the late 2000s, Ebel sold all of the tooling, the rights, and a number of the watchmakers associated with the production of that caliber to Ulysse Nardin, which then spent approximately 3 years creating the movement you see here, the UN caliber 150, with a silicon escapement, a dual-anchored balance bridge for shock resistance, likewise a free-sprung balance for shock resistance, unlubricated high-efficiency ceramic rotor bearings, This is a beautifully executed extreme mutation of the core genus. This can and should be called a Ulysse Nardin manufacture movement. First of all, because it's built entirely in-house, but second of all, because so much original engineering work went into making this movement what it is. The original Lamagna engineers of the early 70s would not recognize the watch. A beautifully hammered Ulysse Nardin anchor-style winding mass has a gorgeous texture with a lacquered UN anchor logo within. This is about as good-looking as a mainstream chronograph movement gets, short of the truly high horology, the likes of the Patek Philippe's, the Audemars Piguet's, the Langas. This is as good as movement finishing can be. Quite honestly, it's a beautiful counterpart from a mechanical artistry standpoint to the traditional artistry of the enamel dial. And with 100-meter water resistance, the movement really does have it all, protected in a beautiful case. Put it on a textile strap or rubber, and suddenly this watch is ready to get a little bit wet and wild, per Ulysse Nardin's nautical tradition. Pull the crown, you do hack the balance, stopping the seconds, so you can precisely synchronize the watch to a known accurate reference time, and there is a quick set for the date mechanism. This watch is a combination of past and present, aesthetically recalling Ulysse Nardin's great seafaring traditions and its marine deck clocks. Mechanically, arguably one of the all-time great cam-operated chronograph calibers, evolved in a fashion that, quite frankly, takes it to the state of the art among today's manufacture movements. And of course, dial, case, and movement all executed in-house by Ulysse Nardin. You can see and you can purchase this 150-piece limited edition on our website.